Please don't look at the mess that is my bed. I was not in the mood to do it, so I just threw my comforter on it. But this video is the list of the 25 books I want to read in 2025. I sat down and I was like, okay, what are the books that I really need to prioritize in 2025? I chose a lot of books that I actually really am excited about reading. I don't really have that many new releases necessarily. I don't know, maybe I should do like a video where I talk about my anticipated releases of 2025. That could be fun. I have 25 books to talk about. I have authors that I have read before, authors that I have not read anything from before. So yeah, let's get started. First things first, I think I'm going to talk about the 3 books that I already own. And yes, out of the 25 books that I want to read in 2025, I own only 3 of them. And one of them, I bought it literally 2 days ago. The first book that I want to read in 2025 is Kennedy Ryan. The first book that I want to read in 2025 is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I have heard so many great things about this author, about this book. This is, I'm pretty sure, about 2 authors and they used to be together. They have kids together and stuff. I don't really want to read the synopsis of it. I like to go into books for the most part blind. But yeah, I have heard great things about this. I have heard people saying that this goes very deep, but it's not traumatic, I guess. So yeah, I really want to try this author. I have not tried anything from Kennedy Ryan, but I've heard great things about it, and I'm pretty sure that this is a trilogy. I don't know if it's going to be more books. The second book is already out and the third book is coming out this year. Yeah, I really want to get to this and I'm hoping that I'm going to really like it. The next book on my list is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I have not read a single book by Emily Henry, which I know it's crazy. Everyone loved her. Don't know why I have not read them. A lot of people say that they're a mix of literary fiction and like romance. I'm pretty sure this one is mostly romance, at least I hope, because I don't know if I'm going to like literary fiction. I don't think that I have read any books from that genre, so I am kind of scared to go into it. But I have owned this book for 2 years, actually probably more, 4 years probably. And I also own People We Meet on Vacation, also by Emily Henry, so I need to get to them and I'm hoping that I'm really going to fall in love with her writing, like most people out there. I chose this book and not People We Meet on Vacation because I think I'm going to like this a lot more. He's an author and she's a publicist, or they are both publicist. I don't know, but I have heard amazing things about it. I have heard the banter is great in this book, and banter is something that I love, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna really like it. And the last book that I own the physical copy of it already is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I am so scared about this book. I am scared about trying Emily Henry, and even like Before I Let Go, I'm also scared about that book. But this, I am scared about this on a different level. This is not your typical romance. This is more so a character study from what I have heard. It's a very toxic relationship. It's a dark romance. It deals with a lot of heavy topics and it's heartbreaking for the most part, I think. And a lot of people cry. From what I have heard, people say that these are the characters that they're not necessarily likable, but you're going to fall in love with them. And that sounds interesting, okay? That sounds very interesting. But I'm scared, so that's why I'm putting it on this list, so that I can hopefully pick it up. I am curious. To be honest, that's literally it. I am very curious to see how I'm going to feel like it. I own the Daisy Hates book also, so I want to, after I read this one, go into the second one. Even if I don't like the first book, I really want to try the Daisy Hates books because a lot of people that didn't like Magnolia Parks really liked Daisy Hates, so I'm thinking that I'm going to read at least the first 2 books and then I'm going to see if I'm going to continue with the series or not. But yeah, this is also on my TBR for the year. And the other books I don't have the physical copies of. The 4th book is Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. I know this is a graphic novel. I know this is not like a book that's going to take me a long time, but I have read all of the other Heartstopper books. I have read all of the other 4 Heartstopper books. I really enjoy it as a series. I wouldn't say that it's like my favorite series ever because I don't constantly think about them, but I do really enjoy reading them and they're so easy to get through. They're so wholesome, but at the same time they have like some serious topics. And where we left off in the 4th book, I really want to see what will happen in the 5th book, but because they're graphic novels, I really want to have the physical copy of them. I don't want to read them on an ebook. I don't want to read them anywhere else. I really want to have the physical copy of them. And since I don't own the physical copy of the 5th book, I have not read it. So that's why I'm putting it on this list so that I can prioritize getting to it. Then a book that I have not heard a single person talking about is The Sign for Home by Blair Fell. This book came out, I want to say 3 years ago, 2 years ago. something like that. It has pretty good reviews. It has a 4.24 average rating on Goodreads, and it has 7,000 ratings, but I have not heard a single person talking about. And I have had this on my radar for so long. I don't know why I have not picked it up, to be honest. I don't even know if it's self-published or traditionally published. If it is self-published, then I am in fact going to be reading it on my Kindle, because indie books are expensive to ship where I live, so that's not an option. We're not gonna be doing that, but I really want to get to it. I'm pretty sure that one of the characters is deaf from the cover. I'm thinking that the guy is deaf or blind. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that one of the characters is either deaf or blind. I'm guessing deaf since the title has the sign, so I'm thinking signing language. I don't know. I feel like this could be so good, and the average rating again is so high, which I feel like it's kind of crazy that the average rating is so high, but I haven't seen people talking about it. I have gone over my want to read list on Goodreads so many times over the past 2 years. I always keep this book. I never delete it because for some reason really want to pick it up. But yeah, that is the next book. Then we have The Catch by Amy Lee. I read the first 2 books in this series. It's the Influencing series, so we have Set on You, and the other one is X's and O's, and I really like the writing. I really enjoyed the books. I think I gave both of them around 4.5, 4.75, something like that. This one is giving It Happened One Summer vibes by Tessa Bailey, which is a book that I love. So far, every single book that I have read by Emily, I have read like 3 books in total, I have really enjoyed. So I'm thinking that this has the potential to also be a very fun book for me, and maybe even a 5-star read. And that's what I try to do with this list. I didn't want to just put books that are very popular or very hyped. I wanted to put books that have the potential to be new faves, to be like 5 stars, or books that I keep thinking about, books that have characters that I love. So for that reason, every single book in this list is for the most part books that I think have the potential to be 5-star reads. The next book that I have is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. I learned about this book from Sarah Caroli. She read it and she really liked it. I don't know if she gave it 5 stars. I'm not sure, but I remember that she really, really loved it, and it sounds very interesting. I'm pretty sure the plot is we have this girl, and when she was younger in high school, she was depressed and she wanted to end her life. Somehow she met this guy and they basically helped each other, and then years later she ends up running into his brother, and it's the romance between her and his brother. I might be fully wrong. I think that that's the plot of it, but I am very curious about it. It has, again, a very good average rating. I have heard a lot of people raving about this book. I don't really necessarily like dark romances, but I really like deep romances. I obviously like some fluffy romances, rom-coms, all of that, but I think that the books that really stick with me are the deeper ones. So I'm thinking that this one could be one of those, and like a book that I'm gonna really love and that will stick with me. The next book that is very hyped actually is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Spring series. Elsie Silver, this was her year, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 2023 too. I'm not 100% sure, but 2024 was definitely her year, and I really want to get into her books. I feel like they have the potential for me to like them. I don't think that I have read any cowboy romances, and I know that Elsie Silver mostly writes cowboy romances if I'm not mistaken. This seems very interesting, and ever since, I'm pretty sure that the first person I saw talking about this book was Laurie Reads, and she talked about the whole plot of the book. I literally remember her saying that he's a bull rider, and for some reason he says that he doesn't really like milk or something, and one of his sponsors is milk, something like that. So then his manager, or like his PR guy person, is like, okay, I'm gonna send in my daughter because you cannot be saying things like that. So I'm gonna send her in order for her to babysit you. So he's obviously pissed about that. He's like, no, I don't need a babysitter. And that has stuck in my mind. But one thing about me, when a book is very popular and gets a lot of hype, I am not going to be reading it. It's not something that I do on purpose, but it's just because so many people like it. It's so hyped, everyone is raving about it. I just get intimidated by it, which is something that I definitely want to stop in 2025. So a lot of books are also the books that are very hyped and I have heard a lot of people talking about, but I have been intimidated. But I also have a bunch of books that I have heard nobody talking about, but I feel like they could be really good. So that's that book. And then I have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is an accidental pregnancy. Hear me out. I feel like this could be either really good or really bad. I like accidental pregnancy. I have read a couple of books with that trope, and I enjoy it when it's done done right. With this book, I'm pretty sure that she doesn't get pregnant from the main guy. She gets pregnant from another person, and then the main guy helps her figure everything out, and that's how they end up falling in love, which seems different from the usual, oh, we had a one-night stand, we ended up getting pregnant, so now we need to co-parent and stuff, obviously spend time together and then fall in love. So that seems a tiny bit different from the usual plot that most books have. And I have heard really good things from both people that like accidental pregnancy and people that don't like that trope. Hopefully I'm gonna really like it also. Then we have Art of Convenience by Michelle Carrero. This is the first book in the Whiskey and Risky duology. The second book is also out, I don't remember the name of it, but this is an indie published book, which means that I'm probably gonna be reading it on my Kindle. But basically on Instagram, on my Bookstagram, I have been following this author for so many years. He was one of the first accounts that I actually followed. I have been wanting to read this book for so long, but I have been scared because I really want to like it. And I'm scared that I won't like it. It honestly has the potential to be a book that I love, but at the same time, that 1% chance of me not liking it and thinking that this is bad, I guess, is keeping me from reading this book. But I definitely want to prioritize it. I really want to support her and read the second book and support her journey. The next book is Meeting Millie by Claire Ashton. This is the Oxford romance, the first book. There's definitely a second book. I don't know if there's going to be more than that, but this is a sapphic romance and that's pretty much it. The second book is also sapphic romance and I really want to read more sapphic romances, so this is one that has been on my radar for a while now. So yeah, I read the synopsis a couple of days ago when I was doing this list. Tell me why I don't remember it. Okay, apparently I have memory issues because I don't know what this book is about. I feel like one of them is divorced, but I might be wrong. I am not sure. It takes place in a university. They are teachers. That's all I know, and I'm not even sure if that's actually true or if I'm just making all those things up. The next book is Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Lees. I have heard incredible things about Chloe Lees. The Bergmont, I don't remember exactly, the Bergmont Brother series. I have heard so many great things about that series, and it's a 7-book series, 6-book series, and that's a lot. So I'm thinking, what if I go into the Wilmot Sisters series, which is so far 2 books, and the third one is coming out in 2025. So what if I go into this series, read it, and then once I like it, because yeah, obviously it's a fact that I'm going to like it, go into the other series. That's my mindset. I don't know what this book is about. She has pretty tattoos. But yeah, I have heard that Chloe Lees does really good with disabilities, representation, diversity and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that I'm really going to enjoy the writing. The next book is from an author that I already love, and that is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is a very popular book that I am very intimidated by. The only reason being that I feel like I'm going to love it. I feel like I'm going to be obsessed with it. It's going to be one of my new all-time favorite books. I am scared about that because what if that actually doesn't happen? What if I'm so sure about it and then I end up reading it and I hate it? That's going to be so disappointing. Also, I really want to buy the physical copy of it so that I can actually annotate it because I'm thinking that I'm going to like it. And I have heard incredible things about this series, especially. I read the Friendzone series in 2024 and I have heard people really liking that series, but saying that the Part of Your World series is even better. And I did read the Friendzone series. I enjoyed it a lot. I think one of them, I gave it 4.5 stars. So I'm thinking that if this series is even better, what's above 4.5? 5 stars. So yeah, I really want to get the physical copy of it so that if I want to annotate it, I can actually sit down and annotate it. Then I have another accidental pregnancy trope, and that is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I think that I'm gonna love this book. Again, I have heard incredible things about this book. It's a shorter book. It's around 300 pages, I think. And I have heard people saying that this is one of their all-time favorite books. So I am very, very interested about it. The second book in the series, I'm pretty sure, comes out this year. So I also want to read it before that book comes out. So if I like Out on a Limb, I can read the next book. And again, with this book, say it with me, I want to buy the physical copy of it so that I can annotate it if I really love it. For this one, I'm also kind of scared because I'm pretty sure that it deals with a couple of more heavier topics and I'm scared that it's going to make me sad. Basically, that's it. But yeah, I definitely want to pick it up this year and hopefully find a new author that I love because I have not read anything from this author. Then a book that I don't know how I have not read yet is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This came out January or February, I think February of 2024, and I have not read it. You want to know who is one of my favorite authors? Ali Hazelwood. You wanna know whose books I have read 6 out of the 7 books? Ali Hazelwood. Yeah, for some reason, I never picked up Bright. I don't know why. I left it for fall time because I was like, February for me is kind of like Valentine's Day. We're getting into spring very slowly. So I was like, I don't think that it fits the vibe. I'm gonna read it at fall time or winter time. Yeah, it's January, babes. It's January, and I still have not read it. It's literally 11 months later. So definitely wanna change that. I am definitely a bit scared. I have heard a lot of mixed things. A lot of people like it. A lot of people hate it and think that it's just not great. I'm hoping that I'm gonna like it. I don't think that Ali Hazelwood has come out with anything that I have not liked. My least favorite book was Not in Love, but I still gave that 3.5, I think. Yeah, maybe this one is not gonna be another 5-star read. I feel like I'm still going to enjoy it. I always like Ali Hazelwood's writing, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna like this book. Then another book from one of my favorite authors, at least one of the authors that I found out this year and I fell in love with, is Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This, I'm pretty sure that it's an older series. I read the Mersburg series and I'm pretty sure that the Spoiler Alert series came out before that. I read 4 books from Olivia Dade this year and I love them. I fell in love with her writing. I fell in love with her characters. I love her stories. So I really want to read this one. I'm pretty sure that he is an actor, a famous actor of some sort, and she is not famous. And somehow she ends up starring in the same movie with him. But I really want to read it because if I end up liking it as much as the other books that I read from this author, that's gonna be great. Then we have Fool Me Once by Ashley Winstead. I feel like this author is mostly known for the thrillers and that sort of genre. I'm pretty sure that she wrote In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, but this year I read The Boyfriend Candidate by her and I actually really enjoyed it. I really loved the writing. I liked the characters a lot. With that book, the only issue that I had was kind of the miscommunication between the two characters, the constant miscommunication, I should say. And I'm hoping that this one is not gonna be like that. So yeah, I have that on my list and hopefully it's not gonna have that much of miscommunication. Another book from one of my favorite authors that for some reason I have not picked up, even though it came out this year, is Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. Maisie Eddings is an author that I fell in love with 2 years ago. I read A Brush with Love. I liked it. I didn't love it. I went into Lydia Blake's Best Mistake, fell in love with it. One of my favorite books. I read The Plus One. It was such a beautiful book. I read Till in Technicolor. Also fell in love with that book. And Late Bloomer was her release for 2024. It's a sapphic romance. It's her first sapphic romance. Can somebody tell me why I have not picked it up? I'm gonna tell you. Because I don't have a physical copy of it. I went to the bookstore to buy it. I didn't find it. So then I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait until they have it available. Guess what, babes? They never had it. So now I don't own it. And I know that I will 100% want to annotate it because I have read 4 books from Maisie Eddings. I have annotated every single one of them. She does mental health representation like no other. I love the writing. So I always very heavily annotate them. They're probably the books that I have the most annotations for and I have spent like the most time annotating. So I definitely want the physical copy of it. Even a couple of days ago, I went to the bookstore and they literally do not have it. If I cannot find it in any bookstore, I'm just gonna order it because I am dying to read it. It's a sapphic romance from one of my favorite authors. Are you joking? I need it in my life. And then another book from another favorite author that I have not picked up is Play Along by Lee Stomford. This is the 4th book in the Windy City series, which is one of my favorite series ever. I read My High, 5 stars. I read The Right Move. I gave it 4.5 stars. I read Caught Up. I gave it 5 stars. And I think that this book is also going to be 5 stars. But it got so much hype when it first came out. And I was actually very stressed at that time period. So I never picked it up because I was like, I want to be in the right headspace and to feel good and not be thinking about everything that is going wrong with my life. I just kept pushing it back and being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read it at one time. I'm gonna read it one time. So then it became this huge thing in my head that this book is very scary, even though it's not. And I'm pretty sure that from the first page, Lee Stomford is going to catch my attention, just will not be able to put this book down. But I just kept telling myself, oh, I'm waiting for the perfect time. Oh, I'm waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is never gonna come. I just need to pick it up. And then me reading this book is gonna make that time the perfect time. You know? Yeah, so I definitely need to pick this one up because also the 5th book is coming out this year and it's a book that I have been waiting for ever since the 1st book. Then we have Not in My Book by Katie Holt. I'm pretty sure that this is a debut romance. I might be wrong. And it's about, again, kind of along the same lines of Book Lovers by Emily Henry. It's about 2 bookish people. I think that they're both authors, or maybe like one of them is a publicist and the other one is an author. Put books in the title, put books in the cover, and yeah, I am going to be reading it. Then I have Face Off by Chelsea Curda. I read one book from this author a couple of weeks ago and I fell in love with it. It was Dashing All the Way, I think, which which is a Christmassy book. I love the writing. It was so easy to read. It was great. So I'm thinking I should go into this one. It's a hockey romance. Like, I'm gonna like it. Like I said, I love the writing, so I'm thinking that this book has potential. The next book is Academically Yours by Jennifer Chickman. I have not heard a single person talking about this, but the cover screams tension. The cover is gorgeous. I literally want to read this because of the cover. It's a whole series. Yeah, I want to read the rest of the books, but this book just, I don't know. Our female main character, she's a plus size woman. Says I read her girly. She's gorgeous. My camera battery died, so I'm going to try and do this very quickly so that it doesn't die again. So I have 3 books left, I think. The next book is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the second book in the When in Rome series. I read the first book, which is It's When in Rome, and I really enjoyed it. I think that it was pretty good. I read the cheat sheet, I want to say this year, maybe last year, but I didn't like it, so I thought that Sarah Adams just wasn't an author for me. But I really enjoyed When in Rome, so I want to try this book because I feel like people say that this is even better than When in Rome, so I'm thinking that I'm gonna like this even more. And it sounds very interesting. He's like a bodyguard. They basically pretend to date. They go on like practice dates, and that sounds fun. Okay, the next book is For Better or Worse by Erin LaRose. Again, have not really heard that many people talking about it, but this is the first book in the Hollywood series. I don't remember the second book's name. I think it's Plot Twist. I really want to read that. It's about a book girlie. I think that she's an author or something. But in order to read that, even though they are probably interconnected standalones and not like you don't have to read the first book, I want to read the first book. I want to read that in order to go on to the next book, and I feel like I could like it. I'm pretty sure that this is like rivals lovers, and it has to do with like a cooking show. I love cooking, so there's that. And the last book, the 25th book that I want to read in 2025, is Those Who Wait by Haley Cass. Haley Cass is an author that I literally read the first book from her a month ago, and I fell in love with it. I love the writing. She writes sapphic romances. The characters feel so real in a good way and not in a boring way or something. I love her characters, and this book is about some characters that we see in one of her books, The Snowball Effect, which is the book that I read, the first book. So I'm really curious about it, and so far I have read 3 of her books, and all of them have been 4 stars, 4.25, 4.5. I'm thinking that this one is also going to be a really good one. So yeah, that wraps up the 25 books that I want to read in 2025. I am so excited about this list. I really tried very hard to pick books that I want to read and not books that I should read. And I'm hoping that a lot of them are going to be 5 stars and books that I constantly am thinking about. And maybe I can find some new favorite authors, because a lot of authors from this list, I have not actually read anything from them. Let me know if you have read any of these books and if you like them. And also let me know your top books that you want to read this year. I hope that you like this video, and I hope that I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
You give me butterflies when you smile.